Hi, good morning, Bill. How are you doing?
Fine. Well, just 1 second. What'd you say, Pat? Yes, it is. Pat was wondering about the 4-minute rule. Lisa, that's why I sort of interrupted you. When people call as candidates, they can do so once a week and have 4 minutes to talk. So you go right ahead.
I understand. I'll be quick. I can say a lot in 4 minutes. Bill, I want to speak to 3 issues, but before I get to that, I just want to, I found it interesting that the Premier came out and said she hasn't given much thought yet to setting a by-election in Cartwright-Lanceclair. And here we are in the meantime with so many pressing issues, and we have no representation. And I feel like the legislature in the last couple of days have reached an all-time low. While they're in there discussing what they like and what they don't like about Facebook, I can tell you there's a lot of things that we don't like about what's going on here. We've just had some very serious cuts again in our school system. I had 2 school councils call me yesterday. Now, Bill, we're back looking at tripling and quadrupling class sizes. This is going to have a profound negative impact on the students. That's just one of the things we've been weighed in the formula balance of this government, and we've been found desperately wanting when it comes to the education system. We know that there's going to be 70,000 job openings in the next 10 years. We know finally the labor market is shining, the first time for a long time in Labrador. And Bill, we're messing with the education of our students, so who's going to fill those job openings? I represent Labrador on the Provincial Municipalities Board. We've been working on a new fiscal framework. We knew the existing municipal operating grant formula didn't work. Now we're looking at one with things like a remote index. Why can't we look at ways and means around our education and stop compromising? Another thing yesterday, Bill, we have no ferry in the Labrador Straits. That is the extension of our highway. We have people that wait for months and months for appointment with a specialist. It wasn't because of the weather. It was because the ferry left on Monday for a crew change and isn't coming back until Thursday. We've got the island of Black Tickle. I know you're very familiar with the desperate situation of Black Tickle.
Yes, I am.
We've got $250,000 down there sitting in an account to run a 23-week program we're really, really grateful for, a targeted initiative for older workers. And because of some silly, stupid criteria, $62,000 of that is not even going to be used because the 3 people that we have in their 50s can't get into the program because you need to be 55 or over.
Right.
The money is there for the full program. There'll be 3 empty seats. Is that smarter spending, Bill?
Lisa, you've got a lot on your plate. Listen, you're obviously raring to go. I use the word, not you. You may use another word. I don't know that the Premier hasn't called the by-election, hasn't thought about calling the by-election yet. But let me ask you this question. Would you like to see the provincial by-election held off until the federal by-election is over and decided and the air cleared? Or do you think it's all right for both of them to go on? You know, if the provincial by-election was called now, both would be going on together. Is that all right from your point of view?
That is absolutely all right from my point of view. I'm getting calls here from daylight to dark. People are very unhappy that their issues are not being discussed, and the quicker that I can get in there and my colleague Yvonne Jones can get at the federal level, the quicker that we can move issues. Bill, yesterday some guy called in, Morris, in the afternoon, talking about somebody from this district that used to be an MHA. He wished he was back. He made for interesting debate in the House. He was an interesting fellow to watch. I'm telling you now, the people of Cartwright-Lanceclair don't care what all the politics is. They want action. They want results. We want some growth put back in our communities.
Who was he talking about?
He was talking about Danny Dumaris and his level of education and his $25,000 scholarship he got. Fine and dandy. If he had any support, he would have contested me for the Liberal nomination.
Did you get in by acclamation?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just needed my memory refreshed on that. Yes, if Danny Dumaris wanted to run, he could have run against you for the nomination. Absolutely right.
Yes, sure. And Bill, the Dempster name is probably throwing you. I've met you before. I am the granddaughter of Ben Powell, the author, Trapper Ben.
Great.
So now it probably rings a bell.
It does ring a bell, Lisa. He was a great friend of my father's. They were great buddies. You may not remember that, but we're talking about the 50s now, you know?
That's right. Yeah. But I did hear his name lost from my grandfather, and I say that to you just so you won't be surprised where my strong work ethic and determination comes from.
And I know where
not education that gets it.
No, and I know where your gift of your outspokenness comes from as as well, Lisa. It's a pleasure talking to you, I must say.
Yes, thank you. But I do want to say that the school councils are very, very concerned about what this formula is doing and with the teacher cuts, and we're going to be getting on and trying. But see, what's happening, Bill, you've got this top-down, heavy-handed approach. They're not talking to anybody. There's no engagement of the people, and it's time to change that.
All right. Now, Lisa, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to you. We've gone on to just about 5 minutes from, not counting the interruption at the beginning, and I've put in a little time for my question. But thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to talking to you next week again if you want to.
Absolutely, I will do that. You have a good remainder of the day.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Lisa Dempster, Liberal candidate for Cartwright Lancet Clare. A formidable candidate, if you don't mind me saying. She's got a lot on her plate, a lot she wants to see. And she raised a point which she didn't pursue, but I will just pursue it as the host of Open Line. When the Premier says that they're very busy and they haven't had time to consider the by-election in Labrador that Ms. Dempster wants to run in, does that ring true when you realize the time that was spent on this Facebook fiasco? If you're busy enough to close down the house for 2 hours and talk about that and spend your time on that, should you have time to implement an essential democratic measure like, for example, calling a by-election so that people can decide who they want to represent them in the House of Assembly? I'll leave it with you. You can answer the question.